Good morning, my dear students. I hope everything's okay. Today we are going to study Unit 4, Visiting a Film Studio. Lessons, focus time and practice time. But first we have to review vocabulary from the previous lesson, word time. Number 1, listen to music. Number 2, take a nap. Number 3, talk on the phone. Number 4, sign autographs. Number 5, drive a sports car. Number 6, put on makeup. Number 7, make friends. Number 8, wear a wig. Number 9, have an accident. And number 10, get a sunburn. After finishing the review of the vocabulary of the previous lesson, we are going to handle this very important grammatical rule. We are going to study the present simple tense and adverbs of frequency. Present simple tense. It's used to express habits or facts. For example, fish live in the water. We can say fish lived in the water. It's a fact. And fish lived in the water and will always live in the water. I always visit my relatives. It's a habit. So we use the present simple tense to express habits and facts. Now we are going to talk about adverbs of frequency. We have here 6 adverbs of frequency. Always 100%, usually 80%, often 70%, sometimes 50%, hardly ever 10%, never 0%. They are used to talk about how many times something happens. Always something happens every day. Sometimes, usually means it happens a lot, but less than always. Maybe 3 times a week. Often 70%. It happens a lot, but it's less than usual. Maybe once a week. Sometimes 50%. Not very much. Hardly ever 10%. Something happens very few times. Never 0% means it never happens. It doesn't happen. So, these are called adverbs of frequency. We use them with the present simple tense. They are always placed before the main verb. Every sentence has a main verb. These adverbs of frequency are placed before the main verb, except for verb to be. For example, the elephant is always fat. We can't say the elephant always is fat. No, that's wrong. So we place the adverbs of frequency before the main verb in the sentence, except for verb to be. For example, he always does homework. We should write the infinitive, do. Why did we add s to the verb do? Es, does. We added es to the verb, to the infinitive, because we have 2 reasons. Number one, present continuous, present simple. Number 2, the subject is third person, singular. So we add s to the end of the infinitive when we have two conditions. Number one, the tense is present simple tense. Number two, the subject is third person singular. What is a third person singular mean? Third person singular, he, she, it, and any noun. Singular noun. So we add s to the infinitive when we have two conditions. Number one, the tense is present simple tense. Number two, the subject is third person singular, which is any singular noun, or he, she, it. I usually visit my grandpa. They hardly ever drive cars. We often go to school on foot. She never plays. The same thing. She never plays. We added s to play because we have two conditions. So the tense is present simple tense and the subject is third person singular, which means singular noun or he, she, or it. As I have just said about the adverbs of frequency, we have in this lesson 6 adverbs of frequency. 4 of them are used with affirmative sentences and 2 are used with negative sentences. Again, adverbs of frequency. We have 6 adverbs of frequency in this lesson. 4 of them, these 4, are used with affirmative sentences, and 2 of them, these 2, are used with negative sentences. Always 100%, usually 80%, often 70%, sometimes 50%. These 4 adverbs of frequency are used with affirmative sentences. Yes, affirmative, yes. But hardly ever, 10% and never, 0% are used with negative sentences. No, negative sentences, no. We can summarize this. If it's below 50%, it's used with negative. If it's below 50%, it's used with negative sentences. We have examples. Listen to music. Do you ever listen to music? Please notice that this word ever is used only in questions. Do you ever? Just in questions. Do you ever listen to music? Yes. I always listen to music. This sentence is affirmative. What about this? Wear a wig. Wear a wig. Does she ever wear a wig? No. No. She never wears a wig. As we said before, we add s to the infinitive of the verb when there are two conditions. Number one, the tense is present simple tense. Number two, the subject is third person singular, which means it's singular verb. No, she never wears a wig. Example number 3, do they ever have an accident? Yes. They sometimes have an accident. So, we repeat again that we have 4 adverbs of frequency which are used with affirmative sentences which are above 50%, always 100%, usually 80%, often 70%, sometimes 50%. They are used with affirmative sentences, and the other two are used with negative sentences, hardly ever 10%, never 0%. Focus time, page 21. A. Listen and repeat. Adverbs of frequency. As you can see, we have 6 adverbs of frequency, and they are used to talk about how many times something happens. Always, 100%. 2, usually. 80%. 3, often. 70%. By the way, the word often can be both. Often or often. Both are correct. But I prefer often. 3, often. 70%. 4, sometimes. 50%. 5, hardly ever. 10%. 6, never. 0%. Please note that the last two, hardly ever and never, are used with negative sentences, and the first 4 adverbs of frequency are used with affirmative sentences. Always, usually, often, sometimes are used with affirmative sentences. Hardly ever and never are used with negative sentences, below 50%. Wear, wears. Drive, drives. Put, puts. Fall, falls. Get, gets. Listen, listens. Take, takes. Talk, talks. Sign, signs. Have, has. Adding s to the end of the infinitive, as we said before, we must have 2 conditions. Number 1, the tense is present simple tense, and the subject is third person singular. But please note that have turns into has. We didn't add s to have, so it should become have, haves. No, this is wrong. It turns into has. Have, has. Have, has. We can't add s to have, so it's has. Have, has. B. Listen and repeat. Do you ever listen to music? Does he ever listen to music? We can learn that we use do with I, we, you, they. We use does with he, she, and it, and any singular subject. Yes, I, or he, always, usually, often, sometimes. These 4 adverbs are used with affirmative sentences. Listen or listens to music. Or in the negative sentences, answers no, I, he, hardly ever or never listen or listens to music. So we use hardly ever and never with negative sentences. Practice time. A. Listen and repeat. Then practice with a partner. This is an example, and we have to answer all 8 points. Do you ever sign autographs? No, I hardly ever sign autographs. This is an example. Practice time. A. Listen and repeat. Then practice with a partner. This is an example. Do you ever sign autographs? No, I hardly ever sign autographs. Number 1, you listen to music usually. The question, do you ever? Don't forget the word ever, it's used with only questions. Do you ever listen to music? Usually, so it's yes. Yes, yes, I usually listen to music. 2, she talk on the phone always. Always means yes. So, does she ever talk on the phone? Yes, she always talks on the phone. Number 3, he drives a sports car often. Often means yes. So, does he ever drive a sports car? Yes, he often drives a sports car. Number 4, they have an accident. Hardly ever. Hardly ever means no. So it's, do they ever have an accident? The answer is no, they hardly ever have an accident. Number 5, he get a sunburn. Always. Always means yes. So, does he ever get a sunburn? Yes, he always gets a sunburn. Number 6, you put on makeup? Never. Never means no. Do you ever put on makeup? No, I never put on makeup. 7, he wear a wig. Sometimes. Sometimes means yes. The question, does he ever wear a wig? The answer, yes, he sometimes wears a wig. Number 8, he take a nap? Usually. Usually means yes. The question is, does he ever take a nap? The answer is, yes, he usually takes a nap. Workbook, page 21, focus time. So we have to read and match. Number 1, never, never, 0%. 2, usually, 8%. 3, sometimes, 50%. 4, hardly ever, 10%. 5, always, 100%. 6, often, 70%. B, look and write. Number 1, he, this is often, 70%. He often takes a nap. Number 2, this is always, 100%. She always gets a sunburn. Number 3, this is hardly ever, 10%. I hardly ever wear a wig. Number 4, this is sometimes 50%. They sometimes talk on the phone. Number 5, this is 0%, never. He never signs autographs. C, look at Sally's schedule. Answer the questions. We have a schedule, days of the week, and what activities done in these days. Number 1, does she ever take a nap? Take a nap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, all days. So she always takes a nap. She does this every day. 2, does she ever put on makeup? Put on makeup. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 days from 5 days. So it's usually. Yes, she usually puts on makeup. Practice time. Of course, we are still doing our workbook. Practice time, page 22, in the second part of the book, the workbook. Look at the chart, write the questions and answers. We have to write both the questions and answers. Number 1, does he ever use a computer? Oh, this is 80%. Usually. Yes, he usually uses a computer. 2, do they ever rent a video? Oh, this is 10%, hardly ever. So it's no. No, they hardly ever rent a video. 3, does he ever drive a sports car? Oh, this is 100%, always. Yes, he always drives sports car. Number 4, take a nap. Talk on the phone, sorry, talk on the phone. Does she ever talk on the phone? This is 80%. This is 70%, often. Yes, she often talks on the phone. Number 5, does he ever take an ad. Oh, this is 50%. So, yes, he sometimes takes an ad. Number 6. Number 6. Does he ever rent a video? This is 0%. Never. The answer is no. He never rents a video. Thank you for following me. Please keep yourself protected from COVID-19. Have a good day. For next time, thank you.